There is an uncomfortable truth most people are never taught. Desire does not respond to goodness alone, nor to effort, nor to constant availability. Human desire is not logical, not fair, and certainly not moral. It is perceptual. It is emotional. It is instinctive. People are drawn to what feels solid, contained, selective, and alive with quiet power. And for centuries, society has trained us to do the opposite, to explain ourselves endlessly, to prove our worth, to overgive, to stay visible at all times, hoping that being enough will make us chosen. But the world does not choose that way. It never has. To be desired is not about beauty, charm, or perfect words. It is a consequence of how you carry yourself, of what you allow access to, of what you withhold, and of how comfortable you are with not being immediately understood. Machiavelli observed something that remains true today. People are not magnetized by desperation disguised as kindness. They are drawn to contained strength, to presence that does not chase, does not beg, and does not dissolve to be liked. Not dominance, not cruelty, containment. This is not about manipulating others. Manipulation comes from fear and lack. It tries to force outcomes. What we are talking about here is something quieter and far more powerful. Understanding how humans actually respond to signals and aligning your behavior with that reality without betraying yourself. Desire emerges where there is mystery, structure, and emotional gravity. And emotional gravity is created when your inner world is not constantly leaking outward. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing that being fully open, fully transparent, and fully available makes them attractive. In reality, it often does the opposite. When everything about you is accessible, predictable, and no pull, the human mind is wired to move toward what it cannot fully grasp, what feels slightly out of reach, what suggests depth beneath the surface. Desire lives in that space. This principle applies across all forms of relationship: romantic, professional, social. The colleague who is always available never becomes indispensable. The friend who reveals everything in the first conversation rarely becomes deeply trusted. The romantic interest who texts back within seconds never creates anticipation. This is not about cruelty or distance. It is about understanding that value is partly constructed through scarcity, and scarcity begins with discernment about how you distribute yourself. Machiavellian psychology is often misunderstood as cold or manipulative, but at its core, it is brutally honest about human behavior. People do not desire what they can easily consume. They desire what resists being reduced, what retains its own rhythm, what does not collapse under attention. When you are always available, always responding, always explaining, you signal that your presence has no cost. And what has no cost loses perceived value, even if it has real value underneath. Consider how people treat free resources versus those they pay for. The free workshop is skipped casually. The expensive seminar is attended with commitment. The same information, different frames. Humans assign value based on investment required, not just utility delivered. Your presence operates under the same psychological law. When it costs nothing, no patience, no effort, no waiting, it registers as less valuable regardless of the truth. Being desired begins with self-containment. This means your emotions are not broadcast on demand. Your time is not endlessly flexible. Your attention is not a public resource. You are warm, but not porous. Self-containment requires an internal foundation. You must have somewhere to return to when you withdraw. A life that exists independently of any single relationship, projects that matter, routines that ground you, interests that fulfill you. When your entire sense of self depends on being wanted by another person, containment becomes impossible. You leak need constantly because you are, in fact, Desire fades quickly in people who are trying to be chosen, because trying reveals fear. Fear of abandonment, fear of not being enough, fear of silence, and fear leaks. It shows up in over-texting, over-explaining, over-giving, over-tolerating. The paradox is that the more you try to secure desire, the more you undermine it. The psyche reads effort driven by fear as instability, and instability repels. Think about the last time you felt desperate for something, a job, a relationship, an opportunity. Do you remember how that desperation affected your behavior? How you analyzed every word, every gesture, looking for signs? How you tried too hard, said too much, gave too quickly? And do you remember how it felt when others sensed that desperation? How they pulled back, became uncomfortable, lost interest? Desperation creates a field of energy that others instinctively move away from. The people who are most desired tend to share a quiet trait. They are not rushed. They do not rush to respond. They do not rush to clarify misunderstandings. They do not rush to fill silence. They trust that what they bring has weight, and that weight does not need to be defended constantly. This slowness is not arrogance. It is. Internal order manifests in countless small ways. The person who can sit in silence without anxiety, who can receive criticism without immediate defense, who can experience rejection without collapse, who can give without scorekeeping. These behaviors all stem from the same source, a solid sense of self that does not require constant external validation to remain intact. Another essential element of desire is selectivity. Desire grows where access is filtered. When everyone has the same access to you, no one feels special for having it. But when access is earned through respect, reciprocity, and consistency, presence becomes meaningful. This is not about playing games. It is about standards, about deciding what behavior you allow near you and what you quietly remove yourself from. Standards are often confused with demands. Demands are external. You must do this for me. Standards are internal. This is what I require to stay engaged. The first attempts to control others. The second controls access to yourself. One creates resentment. The other creates respect. Machiavelli understood that humans respond less to declarations and more to behavior. You do not announce your value. You demonstrate it through what you tolerate and what you walk away from. Nothing dissolves desire faster than staying where you are undervalued. Leaving calmly, without drama, without punishment, sends a stronger message than any argument ever could. It says, my presence is optional to you, but your access to me is optional to me as well. Direction is magnetic. The person pursuing a clear goal, building something meaningful, or developing a skill does not need to create attraction artificially. They already have it, because they are oriented towards something beyond the relationship itself. This creates a gravitational pull. People want to orbit what is already moving with purpose. Another uncomfortable truth is that desire often emerges alongside respect, not fear-based respect, but respect rooted in boundaries. When someone knows you will not abandon yourself to keep them, attraction deepens. When they sense that you could leave and still be fine, your presence gains weight. Not because you threaten to leave, but because you are not trapped. Boundaries are not walls. They are filters. They determine what energy you allow in and what you keep out. The person with weak boundaries becomes a dumping ground for everyone else's chaos. The person with rigid boundaries never connects deeply with anyone. The person with healthy boundaries allows real connection while protecting their core. And this protection, this discernment about what to accept and what to decline, makes their acceptance meaningful when it is given. This is where emotional discipline becomes essential. Emotional discipline is not suppression, it is regulation. It is the ability to feel without spilling, to care without clinging, to engage without attachment to outcome. This creates an emotional stability that others unconsciously relax into, and people desire what feels safe without being dull, strong without being rigid. Emotional regulation means you can be vulnerable without being volatile. You can share challenges without dumping trauma. You can ask for support without demanding rescue. You can express disappointment without punishing. These distinctions matter enormously. They are the difference between intimacy and enmeshment, between sharing and burdening. Desire also dies in predictability. When someone knows exactly how you will react to every situation, there is no tension, no curiosity, no polarity. This does not mean becoming inconsistent or unreliable. It means being internally grounded enough that you are not easily pulled into reactive patterns. You respond, you do not react. And that difference is felt immediately. Predictability in character is valuable. Predictability in reaction is deadening. You want people to know they can trust your integrity, your word, your commitment, but you do not want them to know exactly how you will respond to every provocation, every test, every moment. The person who can surprise with their calm, their wisdom, their perspective, this person remains interesting. One of the most powerful shifts you can make is moving from wanting to be desired to being oriented toward your own standards. When your focus shifts inward, when you stop monitoring how you are being perceived and start monitoring whether the interaction aligns with your values, desire often appears as a byproduct, because attention directed inward. This is why desire cannot be chased. It can only be allowed. It arises when you stop trying to extract it from others and start embodying coherence within yourself. When your actions, boundaries, and energy align, people feel it, and they respond, not because you demanded it, but because something in you feels complete. Completeness does not mean perfection. It means integration. Your words match your actions. Your values match your choices. Your internal state matches your external presentation. There is no dissonance, no pretense, no performance. People feel this coherence viscerally, even if they cannot articulate it, and they are drawn to it because so few people possess it. Machiavelli would say that power lies not in force, but in positioning. Desire works the same way. You do not force attraction. You position yourself as someone whose presence is felt, whose absence is noticed, and whose attention is not guaranteed. This is not cruelty, it is clarity. Positioning yourself well means understanding social and psychological dynamics without being cynical about them. It means recognizing that humans are wired for certain responses, to scarcity, to strength, to mystery, to purpose, and aligning with those realities rather than fighting them or pretending they do not exist. So the art of being desired is not about tricks or tactics. It is about self-command, about understanding human behavior without resenting it, about refusing to beg for what responds to strength, containment, and authenticity. When you stop trying to be chosen and start choosing yourself, something shifts. People lean in. Curiosity grows. Respect forms. Desire follows. And if it doesn't, you lose nothing. Because the ultimate form of desirability is not being wanted by everyone. It is being whole enough that you no longer need to be. But this wholeness does not arrive overnight. It is built through repeated choices. Each time you resist the urge to over-explain, you strengthen containment. Each time you choose standards over approval, you deepen self-respect. Each time you walk away from what diminishes you, you clarify your boundaries. These micro-decisions compound over time into a completely different way of being. The transformation is often invisible to you at first, but others notice. They notice that you are less reactive, less available on demand, less concerned with being universally liked. They notice that your time has become more valuable, your attention more focused, your presence more intentional. And this shift changes how they approach you. Some people will resent this change, especially those who benefited from your previous lack of boundaries. They will accuse you of becoming cold, distant, or arrogant. This is predictable. When you stop over-functioning in relationships, those who underfunctioned feel the imbalance, but their discomfort is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to yourself first. Others will respect the change. They will meet your new standards because they value the relationship. They will adjust their behavior to match your energy. They will appreciate that you have become clearer, more honest, more grounded. These are the people worth keeping close. The journey toward being desired, paradoxically, requires you to stop caring so much about being desired. You must shift your focus from external validation to internal integrity. From "do they want me" to "do I want this version?" When you prioritize your own respect over others' approval, you automatically become more selective. You stop tolerating behavior that drains you. You stop explaining yourself to people who are determined to misunderstand you. You stop shrinking to fit into spaces that were never meant for you. And in this refusal to compromise yourself, you become magnetic. There is also something to understand about energy. Desire is partly energetic. People feel whether you are pulling from them or offering to them. The person who constantly needs reassurance, validation, attention, this person is pulling energy. Others feel it as a drain, even when they care about you. The person who is already full, already grounded, already content, this person offers energy simply by being present. Others feel it as nourishment. You cannot fake this energetic quality. It comes from genuinely doing the work of building a life you do not need to escape from. A life rich with meaning, challenge, growth, and connection. When your life is full in this way, you show up to interactions as overflow, not as need. And overflow is infinitely more attractive than need. This is not about becoming self-sufficient to the point of isolation. Humans are social creatures. We need connection, but there is a difference between needing connection broadly and needing a specific person to validate your worth. The first is healthy. The second is a trap that destroys desire. Another layer to examine is the role of challenge. Desire often intensifies where there is appropriate challenge, not games, not manipulative push. This natural filtering process is painful at first. You will lose people you cared about. You will watch relationships end because they were built on your overfunctioning or your willingness to accept less than you deserve. But in the space those relationships occupied, new ones will form. Relationships built on mutual respect, reciprocity, and genuine compatibility. The truth is that most people are not desired because they do not desire themselves. They do not value their own time, their own attention, their own energy. They give these resources away freely, hoping that generosity will be rewarded with love. But it rarely works that way. Generosity without discernment is not virtue. It is self-abandonment. To desire yourself means to treat yourself as valuable, to protect your peace, to guard your time, to choose carefully who gets access to your inner world. It means having the same standards for how you treat yourself that you would want others to have when they treat you. When you embody this self-respect, others feel it. They cannot help but respond to it, because you are demonstrating through every choice that you are worth respecting, worth pursuing, worth rising to meet. You are not announcing it, you are being it. This is where authenticity and strategy merge. You are not performing desirability. You are becoming someone who is inherently valuable because you value yourself. The behaviors that make you attractive, containment, selectivity, emotional regulation, purposeful living, these are the same behaviors that make you healthy, happy, and whole. So pursue desirability by pursuing wholeness. Build a life so rich that no single person can be its center. Develop skills that challenge you. Cultivate relationships that energize you. Create standards that honor you. Maintain boundaries that protect you. And in doing all of this, you become the kind of person who does not need to chase desire, because desire finds them. And when desire finds you, you will be ready for it, not desperate for it, not clinging to it, not willing to betray yourself to keep it, but ready to engage with it from a place of strength, clarity, and self-possession. Ready to say yes when it serves you and no when it does not. Ready to stay when it is right and leave when it is not. This readiness, this groundedness, this self-command, this is what makes someone truly desirable. Not the face, not the words, not the performance, but the unmistakable presence of a person who knows their worth and will not negotiate it for anyone. That is the art of being desired. And the art begins and ends with how you see yourself.